Hi everyone, Scott with Dearly Departed. We closed our artifact museum in Hollywood a little over a year ago. It was actually around Valentine's Day 2020, and we had everything packed up and moved away and stored away by mid-March, which was so fortunate because that's when the pandemic hit and that's when everything got shut down. So thankfully, it was the worst decision we ever made or had to make about closing it, but actually ended up being the best decision we ever made because we dodged a bullet there. So all of our artifacts have been stored away. The lovely, terrific Terry Bolo made sure everything was so lovingly packed and labeled. And I haven't looked at any of these things in over a year. So I brought one of the boxes home and I cracked it open and I found something I thought I'd share with you. This is a Rolodex. Now, this is old school. For you guys that are older, you might remember Rolodexes. You probably maybe still even have one. Rolodexes were actually personal sort of files of phone numbers, and they were on cards, individual cards, and they were alphabetized, and they were for reference on the desktop. You could flick right through it. We didn't have phones, remember? And it was easy to get to these things, to get phone numbers. This particular Rolodex came from the estate of Rock Hudson. Rock's estate manager is a buddy of mine. I interviewed him. His name's Martin Flaherty. Actually, I'll put the interview at the end of this video. It's pretty interesting stuff when he worked for Rock and all the things he experienced and saw and explains the way, Rock was, just kind of a cool guy. And I got this Rolodex from him. Now, this was sort of a utility Rolodex. It was probably on his assistant's desk or something, because there's lots of things like air conditioning repair and audio and pet care. But there are some celebrity phone numbers in here, which are pretty cool. So I haven't looked through this in a very long time, and I figured you might enjoy looking through it with me. So come with me to Rock Hudson's Rolodex. So this is the way the Rolodex was displayed in the shop. And here it is. On the exterior, on the outside of it, it has a number for AT&T. And let's see. Ooh, the numbers. So as I mentioned, these phone numbers were categorized. These are some of the indexes for them, but they're empty. Studios, hotels, and doctors. So it starts, these are all empty. I assume they're all empty, yeah. It starts with A, and we're gonna go through them individually. So there you are, get comfortable. AT&T, Pat Dolan. A Better Answer, must be like a celebrity answering service. ABC, Channel 7. Now, I'm going to tell you, there will be some celebrity names in here, as I mentioned. There are some names that sound sort of familiar to me. And I don't want to sound like an idiot and say, oh, that's so-and-so, when I don't know. I will say they sound familiar to me, and I don't know off the top of my head. There are names of people that were in Rock's life as well, personal people. So feel free to leave it in the comments below after you subscribe and like the video, hopefully. Leave it in the comments, some of the names that you see here, if you recognize anything you know, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the ones I know. So ABC, Channel 7, Academy of Motion Pictures. You'll notice that there is no area code on these, so that would be 213 nowadays, the original area code of Los Angeles. They ultimately split it up to 310 and 323, but 213 was the original, and so that's what these would be today if they still worked. Hal Adams. Kizia, Adrian Kismia, Electrical. Julia Adams. John Alarimo. Ruth Roman's friend. We know Ruth Roman. Margot Albert. That, I know, is Mrs. Eddie Albert. She was a singer. There you are, Eddie Albert from, it's insulting to him to say Green Acres, but that's pop culture for you. And his wife, Margot, who are both buried at Westwood Cemetery. And I know that was his address on Amalfi when he died. Florence Allen, William Morris Agency, mother. Florence Allen's mother. Jay Allen and Robertson. Mike Allen and Castilian. Rupert Allen, Stone Associates, Inc. Alexander Insurance, Ken Ambrose, American Express, American Savings, John Anderson in Connecticut, Kathy's Critter Cleaners, Lou Antonio, Army Archerd. We know who Army Archerd was. He was a columnist, a very famous columnist, and he would do the premieres. He would be the MC at premieres, and he would introduce the celebrities who show up at premieres back when they were classy, and premieres and celebrities. That's pretty cool. Those were the days. Richard Arroyo, Arthur Green, the Houseman, Art in Iron, Ashby and Company, Atlas Projector on Vision Drive, Audio Gallery, Auto Club, Automatic Sprinkler, Joan Axelrod and George on Rising Glen. All right, the Bees, Jackie Grantham Band and Wheezy, Ann Bailey in New York, Little Joe Barber, Bank of Commerce in New York, Gil Michaels Barber, Rona Barrett, the gossip columnist, the first reporter on the scene of the Tate murders. You know I had to go there. Cal and Sally Bartlett, Marty Baum, Gail and Fritz Baumgarten, Bill Beckley, Olive Brent, Jerry Benson, Milton Berle, Beverly Hills Mercedes, Birdsdall, Julie Birdsdall, Muriel Boverman, Arthur's employer. Okay, Brentwood, Mike Bender, carpenter, Dunes, Bermuda Dunes, Francis Bergen. I wonder if that was Edgar. John Blankman, Ed Blau, Storer Boone, New Orleans, Tom Browerman in Topanga, Claire Bren, Donald Bren, Peter Bren, all Parisians, Stockton Briggle. Briggle directed Rock in Camelot and was friends with Rock. And when Rock died, went to the house and was handling the calls that were coming in at that very important time. Stuff from the press and people who actually, were getting news for the first time. And Stockton was manning the phones. And Stockton tried to orchestrate Rock's body being removed from the house tactfully to try to avoid any photographs from the press. Briggle. Harley Brockoff, the house painter. Appliance repair, Brad Bryan, executive chair. Zev and Bilma Buffman on Sneaky Lane. Perry Bullington. Carol Burnett on Wilshire Boulevard. And that's a real address, too. That's not an agent. Sometimes when you see it on contact information, if it's on Wilshire, it's usually an agent. But that's 18A, so I'd imagine that's a residence. Donald Burnett, Burgess Electric. Latentia Bustle, Dermatology on Roxbury Drive. Ellen Burston, Dr. Neil Brooks, Onto the Seas, Marty Baum, CAA. That's Creative Artists Agency. Connor Films, Kathy's Critter Cleaners, Jeff Cleaves, the carpenter, lots of carpenters. Virginia Caldwell, California Bookbinding, Camino Air Conditioning, Joe Carberry, Barbara Carrera, know that name, Peggy Cardinal, Casa de Cadillac, still there on Ventura Boulevard in Sherman Oaks, I think. Celebrity Services, whatever that is. Central Vacuum, Century Productions, Bill Ross, Ron Chanel, Chalet Gourmet, Richard Chamberlain, Dickie Chamberlain, Marge Champion, Charles Champlin, Chandler Roofing, Michael Childer's Studio, Sarah Churchill, City something, Garage Door Repair, City National Bank, Susan Clark, actress. I know her best from Babe Dietrichson. She did a TV movie, but she and Alex Karras did that. Her husband, Alex Karras, the professional football player, is from Detroit, did did the TV show, Webster. And Victor Victoria he was in. Tom Clark. Mary Clark, Tom's mom. Dick Clayton. Dr. Michael Clements. Mark's doctor. CBS Channel 2. Marge Connor. Conway Metalcraft. Jackie Cooper. Catronio Costumes on Highland. Nancy and David Craig. Crest Drapery Cleaners. Charles Crowell. Hugh Curtis. Custom Line Electric Gates. Chris Cumbo. West Side Door. Okay, on to the D's. Sarah Davidson. Insurance Company. Daily Variety. Bill Damien. Jerry Davis, Matt Davis's father. Dowgard Insurance. There you are. Doris Day. Alfredo de la Vega. Dewey Pest Control. Mabel Deason. Dirk Daner, Masseur. Dirk. Get me Dirk. Daniel Dempsey. Mike Diamond Plumbing still exists. Dean Dittman. Jimmy Dobson, Old Heidelberg, Oxnard, and Woodman. Dr. Hill. Dog trainer Cindy Frank Inn, the trainer. Benji, Arnold the Pig, and tons of other animals. Donfield. MGM, looks like. I think. Dr. Orwasher, the podiatrist. Fred Dreyer. Don Drake. Some good names. Faye, look at that. Faye Dunaway, the El Dorado Apartments in Central Park West, where she's brilliant. Ernie Dunleavy. Dick and Susan Ebersol. Manuel Espina. Eastern Onion. Shirley Eater, the gossip columnist, Southfield, Michigan. She was great. I liked her. She was on Detroit television, but I think it's probably the last thing she wanted to be on. I think her husband's job took her to Detroit, and she ended up stuck in Detroit. But she's largely responsible for Carol Channing's career as being really famous because Hello Dolly opened in previews in Detroit, and it was not doing well. People were seeing it and sort of walking out and saying it was lousy. And Shirley Eater, I don't know what they did. They must have tweaked the show or something. And Shirley wrote a positive review of it. And after that, it sort of turned around for the show. And Hello Dolly is a classic. And Carol Channing was a classic. George England. John Epstein. Betty Estevez, Paris. Louis Estevez. Chad Everett with Shell D. Northridge. Executive Car Leasing. On to the F's. Federal Express. Kit Parker. What's that? A K? It's a P. Duh. Debbie and Kit Parker. Farmers Insurance Group. Lawrence Farrington in Jackson, Mississippi. Henry Falk. Mark Feingold. Film Fan Photo. Bob and Jane Finkel in Brentwood. Firewood. Literally, I think, Firewood. Jones Firewood, yeah. Marty Flaherty. That's Marty. That's my buddy who I interviewed and who will, I'll put his interview at the end of this. He's a good guy. He actually, he got some pretty cool stuff of Rock's for me. And I think that stuff's still available. Rock's personal things from the house. From the castle. Floor Machine Company. Glenn Ford, look at that. Who likes a stiff drink? Linda Foreman. Bob Forrest. Robert Forrest. Bobby Fryer. Franco Electric. On to the G's. Lee Garlington. Jim Gagner. Garage Door Repair, Peggy Galloway, Bob Guerin, Florist, Jerry's, Jeans TV, Adam Gilbert, Richard and Lindsay Gilliland, Lady Glenevy, Lady Vivian Glenevy in France, Michael Gottlieb, E.J. Goebbels and Gordon Goebel, Gunnar Goebel, Mike Gogol, Dave Goldstein, HF Repair, Good Morning America, Ellen Sanger was the contact, Lee Goodman, Greg Gorman for photos, Leo Gordon, Doctor, Adolph Green and Phyllis Green in New York, Arthur Green, the houseman in New York, C. Muriel Boverman, Cross Reference, SoCal Greenhouse in Rosemead, Ted Grensbach, George Griffin, George Grizzard and Bill Tynan, Grover's Key Service, Group W Cable, Gumps, Larry Hoffman and Gumps. Okay. Thanks for watching. Part 2 of Rock Hudson's Rolodex will be uploaded soon. If you hit like and subscribe, you'll be notified first. Also, here's a link to my interview with Martin Flaherty, who was Rock Hudson's old estate manager. I appreciate you watching. Until next time, Scott with Dearly Departed. You heard me.